Hey guys, Bucky Gamgee here, and today we are talking about the plug-and play games that or systems that Nintendo makes. Basically, they got the N60, the NES that they released that was really popular. Now the Super NES that they're releasing, that's already gonna be super popular because it's Nintendo. And now it's rumored that there's trademarks for an N64 classic, as they're calling these systems. But there's essentially plug-and-play consoles with built-in games. Yeah, so it sounds like they're going to do an N64 version, which I am super looking forward to because the N64 is my favorite console. And even though it didn't have like a crud ton of games like a lot of these other consoles, it had a really strong lineup of first party, and there's even quite a bit of good second party titles or third party. So even though there's only like 260 some games, I think they had quite a bit of good games, and it's still most people's favorite system. That got to go and had that console when it was out. It's kind of hard to ask people today or people have never had that console. So yeah, they're making it. Well, it sounds like they're making it, and I'm definitely gonna be getting it. But also another thing I wanted to point out is that the shitty company Atari, they've been releasing this kind of stuff for years, and of course no one buys it because it's Atari and no one really cares for their games anymore because it's been overdone, like 20 years overdone, or more, 30, 40, I don't know how long it's been since Atari released like the 2600 and stuff in like the 70s and 80s. So yeah, it's been a long time and no one buys those, and I think Sega did some of those too, those plug-and-play systems. Not 100% sure. I had an Atari one, like one of the Atari 2600s. It was okay, but definitely wasn't executed well. It was just a way for them to make money, but the Nintendo was doing it right, and they have the IPs that people want to play, the old games, and they're giving them what they want, especially with like the Super NES and releasing the canceled Star Fox 2, which I think that's a really brilliant idea. Giving people what they couldn't play back then, giving the system more hype, and for the ability for more people to buy it. Because I did watch this one guy, he was doing his showroom. He was showing his game room, and he was at this Nintendo section, and he was showing his SNES collection. He had the SNES Classic, but he said he'd rather play it on the actual old console because he had the games and everything. But as a collector standpoint, I'd still get it, but for the way they're doing the Super NES and having the unreleased game on this re-release of the console is a really good way to get even more of the collectors to buy the system, because this is the only way you're gonna be able to play that game is on this NES Classic. And I think that's a great idea to get more people interested in buying the game, because it's the only way you'll be able to play the game. As for the N64, we got like no information. It's just a trademark, so we don't even know if it's real. Companies do trademarks all the time just to make sure that they have this thing, so other people can't say. So one company can't go and trademark this, and then they gotta like do some legal battle or something to get that trademark that they need, or whatever they do to have that as their thing. But yeah, this is gonna be great if they could release something on that console that got canceled that was supposed to be re-released. I mean, that was supposed to be released on the console when it first came out. That would really help out the console again. Again, it makes Nintendo look so much better. I had something else to say, but I can't really remember. I have to say it's probably going to be at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years, because the SNES isn't even out yet. Haven't been able to do pre-orders, so I think that comes out like this fall or something. So look forward to that. So maybe a year and a half, probably half a year to a year before we even get actual confirmation if it's going to be a real thing. And I only see Nintendo going so far as the GameCube, because I mean, you could still pick up all these consoles and the games, but the way they're doing is making it a lot cheaper to get the consoles and the games that are really popular on the console. But you could still really pick up the Wii for pretty much dirt cheap, because there's a crud ton that's sold. So you could easily get those and the few games that are really good on there for dirt cheap. You can find them at a lot of garage sales, eBay. I don't even know if GameStop takes them anymore, but you could probably find some there. So yeah, I think the GameCube would probably be the last one that they would do, even though you can just buy a Wii and play it on there. That's just me though. Another great thing that I think they should do, I don't know, I'm pretty sure the SNES didn't have it. I mean, the NES didn't have it, and I don't think the SNES will. But if they can make it to where you can use the cartridges and they can play like the original cartridges from the console on the Classic, that would really help boost sales for people who want the console. And there's games on there that that's not on the console itself, the re-released console, and they want to play those. Will give them another opportunity to play the games, because they just gotta buy the cartridge at that point, which is not a bad idea, because that gives more opportunity for people to play these games that may not have an opportunity, because some of these consoles, like if you look at like the N64, the original black version is like $40 right now. Not to mention you gotta buy maybe multiple controllers. I think each one comes with 2, and in order to play some of the games you need 4 controllers. And then not to mention, any of the really good games cost like $20 at least, 20 to 40, something like that. And yeah, that's not cheap when you can just buy this like $80 console or re-release console, plug and play, that's got like 30 of the greatest games on there that are the really good first party titles and some of the good second party titles or the third party. And those are the ones that are the really expensive ones for the console. Yeah, people are definitely going to try to pick it up and want to play it, because it's going to be a lot cheaper than buying the old original. Not to mention, a lot of these older consoles don't work on a lot of the new flat screen TVs that we have nowadays. And you need one of those old big fat boxes that we had back in the day, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and it's getting a lot harder to find those TVs nowadays for you to even play your old consoles on. And some of those, you really, for like really older systems like the Atari consoles and like the Odyssey and I think like ColecoVision and Intellivision, that kind of stuff, really work really well on like those TVs from like the late 70s and 80s. But where are you gonna go to find one of those? You can't just go to your store and find one. Maybe a Goodwill, eBay, Facebook, now that they have the marketing up. Yeah, it's just getting a lot harder. So that's another good thing that this console is, because it works on all the new TVs. I mean, yeah, it's not going to have the same nostalgia picture and all that stuff. It's just going to have a much better quality. I bet you with the with the NES, that they did not release anything that uses a zapper, because it doesn't work on a new TV. It only really works on those old, bulky TVs. I don't know what they're really called. But yeah, now I'm rambling on. N64 Classic most likely coming out, and I will try and get it because that's my favorite console, and I think it's pretty baller. So yeah, comment down below what you think about the N64 Classic plus this whole classic line that Nintendo's doing. They're making quite a cool buck off of it because they have all these good IPs just sitting there. So don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow me on Twitch, Snapchat, and Twitter. I'm on Patreon at patreon.com/IBHN, and I'm also on Teespring at teespring.com/industrialburnhill, selling t-shirts there, so go check it out. Bucky Gamgee, and I will see you later.